My name is Nelima and I'm the principal here at the IPC. That's it.
No. You have more good career, right?
Okay, yes. So I have been a student here at IPC in 1996, spring term, and then I have studied cultural studies and psychology and pedagogy here in Denmark at university, and then I worked for the Red Cross, both domestically in Denmark and internationally for almost 15-20 years, both as a volunteer and as a project manager and as a regional director. And then last year I returned to IPC to become a vice principal, and since May 2024 I have been the principal here at IPC. Better?
So, first question, what is your favorite color and why?
That's a good question. Do I have a favorite color? I think my favorite color is now purple, but I haven't thought too much about it. I don't wear a lot of purple, like clothes, or I don't have like purple walls in my house or anything like that, but I really like the color. I think it has a good mixture of different things, and it sort of transcends sort of the colors that we usually see. So I think these days this is my favorite color, purple. Yes. Mm-hmm.
What did you love to do as a child?
Wow, Susumu, these are difficult questions. I thought it would be about my career. What did I love to do as a child? I think one of the things I liked was, at least some of the most cherished memories I have when I look back, is actually just spending time with my friends. Like I was living in the suburbs where there was a lot of free space and opportunity. See you, Gaba. There was a lot of freedom, a lot of space to just like go outside, take your bike, meet friends, and play games. Explore nature. You could drive to the woods and just look for whatever frogs or whatever you wanted to do. So I think as a child I would say that I liked kind of spending time with friends, exploring my local area in a very safe environment. I didn't appreciate it at that time, of course, because that was just something that I took for granted. But now when I see other sort of ways of children living, I think, wow, that was something that was very special. That you could just go out, keep your front door open, and go out to the street, and then you meet some friends, and then you drive them to the park and just play around. Yeah, so I think those were the kinds of things. I never was a big fan of like very structured games, like playing with specific dolls and specific routines. I kind of like just going out there.
What do you want to be when you were younger?
That's also a very good question, if I have to be honest. I think when I was very young, I looked up to, of course, my mother, who was working in an office at the municipality, and she had like a computer, and she had like papers with things that she was filling out with like templates and crosses, and I always thought for a long time that would be so cool to work in an office with papers and answer the phone and be busy with printing something and then like filling out some templates. So that was my dream, and then have like colleagues that like blah 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 gossip with and go for lunch. So I didn't really know what I was doing in that office, but I kind of dreamed about working in some kind of an office. Then when I grew older, I think I became more sort of focused on traditional jobs like being a lawyer or a doctor or something like that. And then eventually, after IPC, that's actually when I changed and thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't focus so much on the specific job or education, but more think about what kind of change I want to contribute to, and what kind of meaningful life I want to have. So, yeah, but for a long time I was an office girl in my head.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. So, when you think of your education, how do you feel?
I think I feel a little bit indifferent, maybe. I don't have strong sort of feelings linked to my primary or secondary school years. I enjoyed going to school for the most part when I was a child. I never had problems like either socially or academically, but it was also not like a big like joy in that sense. I was not like exceptional, neither good or bad. I think I was just like mainstream kind of. I would say that probably in my early years I was thriving more in school because I liked to learn, and I found it easy to learn like languages and mathematics and so on, drawing and creative skills, and I also found it easy to make friends the first years of school, and then probably when I was like around becoming a teenager, 13, 14, 15, that's where I was a little bit more lost in terms of education and what to do with it, and maybe also not really finding anything interesting. I was like less interested in anything, but I was still doing it because I was like, I don't know, disciplined or something, but it wasn't like coming from a place of passion or like deep motivation. And I think that stretched into my high school years, where I was also more just going through the motion, like doing what I was supposed to do, but not with a lot of like passion, I would say. But still, I did well, so I got my marks pretty good, and I was able to get to university. But it was not until I had probably passed my bachelor's that I really like regained my interest in learning. That's when I was like, okay, now I really like studying, like exploring things, and I became curious again. And then, of course, even more so at the last years of university and the first years of working. But I would say when I was young, I liked it a lot, and in the end, but there was mostly like 5 years in the middle where I was like just doing it because I have to.
So, how do you think people should view the process?
I think now, I think a little bit differently about it after also having worked here at IPC. I think it's important that people are there by choice, ideally, and that they feel motivated to learn, and that they don't feel like it's something that is being pushed from above. But obviously, I'm not naive, and I understand that that's a very privileged approach to it. But I think ideally, in the perfect world, people are in the classroom because they enjoy learning, and because they're motivated to learn, and because they are curious and they want to know more, and that's what keeps them there. Also, I think a classroom where there's a balance between like something for the head and something for the heart and for the hands, like where there's not just like one type of sort of theoretical academic knowledge or sort of one-sided kind of learning. So I think a good classroom experience is great if we can sense that there's sort of space for everyone. It's inclusive.
What is the point of education?
I think nowadays I would say that it's probably more, at least from where I stand now, it's more about democratic formation and how to make sure that people are able to live meaningful and responsible lives, and that they understand their own role in life, and also have the skills and the competences to contribute in a meaningful way, but also to take care of themselves and each other, and understand the different dynamics. And of course that can be very specific in terms of very concrete skills that you need to be able to read and write and understand sort of connections in the world and the political sort of dynamics or whatever it might be. But I think also just social skills, empathy, and realizing that there's a way that you can engage, for instance, in conflict resolution or addressing issues that you meet in your everyday life. So those types of skills I think is important in education as well.
What makes your heart sing? What makes your heart?
What makes my heart happy? I'm very happy when I see people pausing. I just realized actually the last few days I've had some situations where I've seen that some actually students from IPC as well, where I can see a development in a way where situations or incidences where people would have maybe 1 month ago or 2 months ago or 1 year ago have clashed and done something to that could maybe escalate a conflict, or when I can see that some people are actually pausing and rethinking, okay, is there something else I can do, or is there a way where I can engage in a more constructive way or bring something more positive to the situation, or is there a way I can take a high road? And I find that really inspiring, and I'm so inspired when I can see that somebody's making an effort to see, okay, I can be the key to change this situation or this path that something is taking. So, and I see that a lot of IPC, that students, they realize that they have that power to actually change something, and I find that very it touches my heart a lot. And sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's more just small things that makes people realize, wow, I have actually the capacity to do something different. So that's very beautiful and inspiring to see.
Including me.
You are big inspiration. I like everybody who's able to change. I think that's the most that's music to my heart when I can see that you can go from being in one space and somehow challenging yourself or letting yourself go with the flow or whatever it takes. So I think that's really beautiful.
So last question. How has IPC change affected you?
IPC has affected me in many ways, but what is interesting about the way IPC has affected me is that I was a student here in 96, so I was young, I was around 19 years old, and I was enjoying my stay, and I made a lot of friends, and I also had inspiring classes and met inspiring teachers, and had fun and fell in love and created friendships and all that. But IPC, at that point, I didn't really realize how it might inspire me. But then, as the years passed, and as I sort of went out into the world, I saw a lot of different things, because I was working with the Red Cross and was encountering a lot of different crisis situations and people suffering, and also just a lot of cultural clashes and conflicts. And then it was like, I kind of understood IPC backwards. So I was like, this is now what somebody was talking about. Or I could remember that there was a refugee from Rwanda, and I was like, oh, this is, now I understand what he was explaining and what he had read through. Or there was all these students we had from the Balkans where there had been a conflict, and I didn't quite understand sort of the depths of it, but then after maybe 5 years or 10 years, I kind of realized, okay, this is now what happened in IPC, and this is how these dynamics unfolded in the situation. So I think a lot of the learning at IPC was like sort of kept in a sacred spot, and then it sort of continued to develop over the years. and then also because I have traveled a lot, I think I really benefited a lot from having a great network of people all around the world, and not even people that were like my close friends when I was here as a student, but then maybe 10 or 15 years later, I was like, I wonder if there wasn't this person called Sergey from Ukraine, maybe I could call him. So I think it's also this gift that continues to give. Yeah, so I learned a lot from IPC.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Today was Nelima.
Thank you.
Thank you.